Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received, and the translation of that message, it reads like this. Hello, Brother Nanshi, how are you? Can you please post my own story? As for me, I am doing fine, but I'm not well. Things are not okay on my side. I am dating an old ritualist man, which I thought that I had found a man that was going to live with me, take care of me and my child. But Brother Nashi, I, as a single mother, I convinced myself that this was the only way that I can change my situation. And I am regretting. My heart is filled with so much pain because I was robbed from an early age. I was impregnated when I was only 18 years old, and my husband ran away, and I started suffering, Brother Nashi. That is when I met some of these guys of my age mate. You know, Brother Nashi, when you are a single mother, these guys, they take advantage of you. They thought that maybe simply because I did not have a husband, I was just hungry for sex. You need someone who can come and sleep with you to satisfy your feelings, if you get what I'm trying to say. That was what was happening in my life. I was tired of so many heartbreaks and the like. Brother Nashi, I got advice from this other lady whom I used to work with, and he said, my girl, can you find an older man who is ready to settle with you? Why are you wasting time with all of these young men that don't have money? A rich older man, yes, I agreed, because I was done with these heartbreaks, with these men that I was dating, because there was nothing that was coming out. They would come and sleep with me. No money, no food for my child, nothing. I was just doing everything by myself. So I said, let me just listen to this advice and move on. Rather Nashi, I then found an old man who was rich. Have you ever found yourself in a relationship when you feel you are trapped, unsure, and even questioning yourself? I have been there, and during that time I told myself that it was better to explore this relationship with someone who is older. So me and this man, I saw that we could have a good relationship. He was going to support me financially, emotionally, and not to manipulate me. And this is the experience that I have learned that I want to share with you. It all started when I met him. He was old, charming, he was successful, and he seemed to have it all together. He was a widower. When I met him, he was just above 50. The guy is rich. This old man is very rich. And at that time, when I was really young, when I saw all the money that he had, I was really naive. He had swept me off from my feet. We dated and everything was perfect. He came and he paid for my bride price at my parents' house. Then we started staying together as husband and wife. At first he said that he had no problem with me staying with my child. So my child came, we started staying with him, and he was the one who was paying for my fees for my child, taking care of each and every bills, including my parents. As time went on, I began to realize that our relationship was not a normal relationship. It was really old, and some of the times I could not even argue with him in terms of this power imbalance, and I could not ignore it. He would make decisions for me without consulting with me as his wife, and he will say that I have to follow whatever that he does. I don't need to argue with him. I was his submissive wife. I tried to brush it off, thinking that it was just his way of showing love and care as an older man. But as time went on, I started to feel suffocated. I felt like I was losing myself in this relationship, and I was a nobody in this game. One day I sat down and I realized that I had to make a choice. Even though I came from a very poor family, I had no money to take care of my child, but I could not continue staying with this man, losing myself in the process. And it was time for me to reclaim my independence. It was not an easy decision, but I knew that this was the decision that I had to do. I told my mom. My mom was not in support with that because my mom, she loves money, And she said that, no, you are not going to break up with this man. Look at him. He is taking care of us. If you break up with him, who the hell is going to pay for your children's school fees? So I tried to run away. That was when I discovered that this man is nothing but a ritualist. I had spoken with this other bus driver whom we used to send so that he can buy some clothes in South Africa, and when they will be returning back to Zim, they will be having those items that we would have sent them to buy for us. I told him that I wanted to go to South Africa, and he said it is fine. Even though I did not have a passport, he was going to try to make a plan for me. I went to Roadport, where those buses that go to South Africa can be found. I got into the bus, but by the Nashi, I then saw a snake. I saw a snake that was on the seat where I wanted to go and sit, me and my child. I asked this other man that was sitting on the opposite seat, and I said, do you see that snake? He said, what snake are you talking about? I then discovered that it was only I that was seeing that snake. I ignored it. When I sat down, this snake just hissed and it disappeared. I got off from the bus because I was feeling really sick. I had hot flashes all over my body. So I thought that maybe since it was very hot, because it was somewhere around 11 a.m. and it was very hot on that day, I got outside of the bus just like what most of the people that were waiting for this bus to leave for South Africa, they were sitting outside because of the heat that was inside the bus. I sat outside, and when I wanted to go back in there, since the bus driver was saying that all the seats were now filled up, we need to hit the road. When I stood up, that was when my son said, Mom, can you see that snake? I looked and I saw there was a big python that had coiled itself around that bus. This python looked at me when it realized that I had seen it, and it said, so do you want all of these people to die? If you get on this bus, there is going to be a very terrible accident, and all of these people are going to die, and you are going to live, and you are going to be reminded each and every day by me that you are the reason as to why those innocent people died. Return back to your husband if you want to save the lives of these innocent people. Brother Nashi, I just stood there. I was shaking. I had already paid for the bus fare. Even one of the bus driver came and said, we need to leave, Mommy, we need to leave. Who are you waiting for? We cannot wait for you any longer. We need to go. We need to go right now. And then I said, I will come. Don't worry. I'll be on the bus just right now. I am waiting for someone. He looked at me angrily. He walked into the bus and he closed the door and he said, let us leave, let us leave. And they left me standing right there. They even refused to refund me when I went to their offices, saying that I was waiting for someone and that person was taking too long. And they said that if you have booked a ticket, it is non-refundable. And that bus left, Brother Nashi. I returned back to my husband's house, and he said that he knew that I had tried to run away from him and he was not going to allow that. He then went to the bedroom. He came to the living room where I was sitting with my son, and he said to my son, go into your spare room. And he then showed me a clay pot, and this clay pot, from within it there was smoke that was coming out, and he said that the day that this smoke will stop coming out, then another sacrifice has to be performed. He then told me that ever since he had done these rituals in his family, there are 13 people that have died, and all of these relatives that died, it was because of the rituals that he performed. So one by one, he has been killing off his relatives each and every time when there is no smoke that is coming out of that clay pot, then someone has to die. So what hurts me the most is that he said that you are not going anywhere because you are my wife. You are legally married to me. I feel as if I am trapped. I want to move on, but I can't. I have since told my mom everything that he said to me, but my mom said that, it happens. He is a businessman. So what do you want him to do? Because you know that he is a businessman. Obviously, he needs to have some sort of protection. Otherwise, people are going to take advantage of him. So right now, this old man that I am staying with, sometimes, Brother Nashi, he can come to my room because he has since started hating me. He has his own separate bedroom, but there are nights that he comes to me. When I switch on the light, I see that he will be sitting on the corner of my bed, and sometimes I see a snake in my room. It then disappears. He says that we cannot sleep with each other at all the times, since now I know that he is a ritualist, and I'm just suffering because my mom does not want me to leave. Can you please post my story so that I can get help from your audience? I am suffering in the hands of my mom and this old man. Life is not fair. Life is not fair at all. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our sister right there. That was the translation that was sent to me. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. Let us talk about this in the comment section.